I do have a lot of friends that got married. They get married and then they have the kids, and I couldn't figure that out at first, but then I realized, because I had the friends that would get married and they'd call me up after they got married and they're like, hey, you want to hang out? I was like, yeah, they're fun, they're my friends, they were fun people. But then they got married and they're fucking boring as shit, and they call me up and like, hey, you want to hang out? Yeah, sure. Okay, we're going to play Jenga. No, I'm not fucking hanging out, forget that. I don't have to do stuff like that. And then they went and had kids, which I finally figured that out. I was like, okay, so nobody wants to hang out with them anymore. So then I thought, okay, well, why don't we make somebody who has to hang out with us? Right? For 18 years, this thing's got to fucking sit here. We can play all the Jenga we want. It's got legally, it can't even go anywhere. It's like our responsibility to play Jenga with this thing. And I have some of these friends that I wouldn't trust them to raise a plant, let alone a human, right? A plant even would be because this thing, it's got thoughts and stuff, and they're crazy ideas, some of these my friends, and they just sit there and there's this thing, it doesn't know any better. They just sit there and just yeah, and then what happens is, you're like, no, stop, it doesn't know that you're fucking out of your mind. It just believes everything you say. I had a problem with a friend, my best friend from growing up. He just had a daughter, and they had to come up with a name for her, and they called me up beforehand, and they're like, okay, we have a name we want to see what you think of it. We're thinking about naming her Infinity. What do you think of that? And I was like, you don't live in the Matrix, you idiot. It's a stupid name. How about a human name, right? Like Susan or Amy or something like that? That's a real person name. That's what, no. We want her to be special. We want her to be symbolic of her limits. Her limits will be infinity. And was it her limits? You name her Infinity, her limits are going to be a stripper pole. All right? There's no Dr. Infinities out there. If you showed up to the doctor and they introduced themselves as Dr. Infinity, you'd be like, you know what? I'm out of here. That's what I am. Keep the coke. I don't keep your $20. I don't know what you're doing back here. It's special, that's the word too. Yeah, it should be a special event at VIP's Gentlemen's Club. That's what probably. Should just name her Trixie or Sparkles or something. I think if they're lucky, best case scenario for that kid, this is what I'm banking on, fine. If you're going to go with that, then maybe if you're lucky, she could end up on American Gladiators or something. You just buy her a giant Q-tip and a helmet and a little Infinity can go climb mountains or something. Prepare for her career. That's what they did. They bought a book of baby names. That's what they had. They had to go. I just was just kind of I couldn't grasp that. I was like, I don't understand. Do you not know? I don't know any other people. Have you never met another person? They have a name. It's there's names. I know how many names. I know hundreds of names. I could just think Jeff, Jason, Jerry. Those are just J's. There's all kinds of names. I know them. You don't have to buy a book for it. And to think we get every one of us gets a book full of names delivered to our front door every 6 months in a plastic bag. It's called a phone book. You just open it. It's free. They just bring it. You don't even ask for it. They just bring it. Right? You just open it up. It's just names, just hundreds of pages of names, free for anybody to use. They went and bought a book. I can't even be you can't were they afraid they could you couldn't go to the bookstore and look through the book and go remember it? You're like, that Jeff? I'm not gonna remember that. There's no way I'm gonna remember that. This is $30, yeah, I need that for